Dystopia. Oftentimes, a dystopia stands on the remains of an attempt at achieving the perfect world, a utopian society which has successfully eliminated all injustices. In these failed attempts at paradise, we are left with dystopian societies which oppress its civilians with laws and regulations which strive to erase mistakes but result in the extremes of a perfect world, an unlivable world. The objective of dystopian storytelling is typically to provide commentary on the imperfections of the goals of our present-day society.
Anthem by Ayn Rand is a fictional novel which takes place in a future dystopian society. Many themes explored throughout the book are common and recognizable characteristics that can be seen in many other dystopian stories in literature or film, such as a police state or an oppressive government. In the three films, What Happened to Monday, The Lobster, and Equals, there are prevalent dystopian ideas that parallel the text of Anthem.
What Happened to Monday visits a dystopian world in 2043 where an unforeseen epidemic causing people to unnaturally birth several offspring at one time causes worldwide overpopulation. Consequently, the world is turned into an authoritarian society led by a corporation known as the Child Allocation Bureau. The CAB is tested when the grandfather of septuplet girls chooses to keep all 7, raising them all to adopt one personality whenever they leave the safety of their own home.
In the film The Lobster, single people are forced to find partners in order to be part of the city. The movie follows one man in a society that rejects single people and offers programs which give the options of finding a mate in 45 days or being turned into an animal. When he cannot find a suitable mate, David joins a group of loners with their own anti-coupling rules. Finally, Equals entertains the idea of a world that has genetically eliminated emotions in order to achieve a more civilized and progressive society. After a war to end all wars unites all countries under one progressive state, it's decided if every human interacted without feeling, we would never revert back to old ways. However, a romance similar to the one in Anthem causes problems for the film's protagonists Silas and Nia, as they must find a way to survive in a society which believes those who develop emotions are ill.
In the 3 dystopian films, there are 3 prevalent dystopian themes shared with Anthem. These are the suspicion of other citizens, segregation based on class, and the limitation of individuals' free choice. First, in all 3 movies and the book, there is an encouraged suspicion or fear of other citizens. In Anthem, as Equality describes his time in the home of the street sweepers, he recounts the atmosphere as being filled with worried workers that were too afraid to speak because they were unsure if their thoughts were shared by the other members of the society. This is paralleled in What Happened to Monday as the girls develop a plan for when a visitor comes to their home and they need to appear to have only one child in the house and the rest hide. While the Child Allocation Bureau is always a threat to them, it could be anyone at their door that they fear will expose them and tear their family apart. The society in The Lobster is so determined to remove loners from their civilization that hunting down loners is incentivized for those single people in programs running out of days left to find mates. Each loner caught and tranquilized earns a bachelor another day in the program to find a mate before they must be turned into an animal. Equals' environment is constantly hostile and silent. A sickness causing people to experience emotion and free thoughts sets everyone into a craze of either being caught having it or making sure everyone around them does it so it doesn't spread to them. We see both protagonists endure tense encounters with those around them when they're suspected of being contaminated with the illness.
Anthem society is completely segregated, with everyone divided by gender, age, and occupation. After finishing their schooling, each member of society is given a job chosen by the Council of Vocations and spend the rest of their life working until they are rendered useless. Within these jobs, women and men are never meant to interact unless ordered to at the mating palace for procreation. This makes the blossoming relationship between liberty and equality all the more dangerous as they choose to acknowledge each other and eventually begin a life together of their own volition. Everyone in What Happened to Monday has an implant with all of their personal information and documentation, including what their job is and where they work. Everyone is considered one class similar to a lower middle in our present day, all struggling to survive despite owning technologies we would consider in our present day highly advanced. This is much like the mindset the civilians of Anthem have when referring to themselves as we rather than I, to be more willing to work for their fellow man instead of themselves. In The Lobster, there are 4 distinct segregations: those who are with a partner and get to live in the city, those who are adult bachelors searching for a partner, the loners who have taken a vow of abstinence and choose to stay single forever, and those who did not pass in finding a partner in time and are turned into an animal. Ultimately, all are overlooked by an unnamed government force. Equals has a clear separation from those who begun to show emotions and deemed unwell and those who don't. While those who are diagnosed don't lose their job or respect from their colleagues, it's accepted and almost encouraging for those who begin to experience emotions to distance themselves from everything and everyone, or even end their life if their state worsens. This guilt that the ill people feel is similar to the guilt Equality experienced in Anthem when he had committed the transgression of preference.
In Anthem, all choice in individuals' lives is removed from the moment they are born. Everything from their learning levels to their professions are chosen for them without any allowance for experimentation, which could lead to discoveries considered dangerous. In What Happened to Monday, each sister is confined to being the same person with the same job despite their own interests and personalities. This is similar to the way Equality must go to work as a street sweeper, despite his desire to be a scholar. Every day as a new sister leaves their home, the same woman must enter the city to keep their family hidden and function as a part of the society to remain undetected. With the threat of becoming an animal without a life partner, the society in The Lobster does not provide a freedom of choice for individuals who wish to find a life mate in their own time. The stakes are constantly high in this society if you do not have a partner, as you are racing against time before becoming an animal, or racing other loners as you run from bachelors hunting you. Without emotions, it's difficult to imagine what would motivate a person to make decisions such as family choices, and in fact, in Equals, women are summoned for conception as if it were jury duty.
All three themes across the novel and films are frequent in dystopian storytelling for their absurd nature, as we can't imagine living in the worlds that minds like Ayn Rand have created. Nevertheless, we must recognize and focus on the similarities between these worlds and heed the warnings their messages bring us.